Hi everybody, this is Luiz Maia. You are watching another video of our course, The Behavioral Economics of Global Affairs. Okay, so this is a short message I have for you today. We were talking in class about aging, how societies are getting older in general. We have larger shares of the population reaching 65, 70 years old, which is good, right? Longevity. It means most of the times that we have better health systems, we have people living longer, and in general, that's good news. But we have to look at a very specific aspect of this phenomenon, which is the financial one. Okay, so what we are going to try to do here very quickly is to talk about two videos that you guys can find at TED Talks, right? The website in which we have short conversations with experts of all sorts of sciences and studies and investigations. So let's talk about the first one. So here we have Daniel Goldstein. The guy is talking about the battle between your present and your future self. So he comes and tells us something that we already know. Most of us don't save enough money for the retirement period of our lives, right? We don't usually think, uh, we don't start early to save money for retirement, and many times we don't save enough. And then he's trying to look at this and understanding the phenomenon from a behavioral economics perspective. So he comes and reminds us about the old story about Sirens, Greek mythology, in which you have this important hero crossing a sea where people know there are many sirens and it is very dangerous to cross the sea at that point. The enchanting songs of the siren are very, very persuasive, and people generally jump into the sea and die. So, é aquela história da mitologia grega, de que o herói vai passar com seu navio numa região de sereias e que ele sabe do risco que aquilo representa. Na medida que as sereias começam a cantar, as tripulações se jogam no mar e acaba tendo desastres. E aí tem aquela história em que o herói, sabendo das suas fragilidades, ele pede, dá ordem aos seus empregados lá, os seus seguidores, que o amarrem no mastro do navio, para que ele resista. Então ele reconhece a sua fragilidade a ponto de se atar, se reter, suprimir seu próprio impulso, quando fosse o caso. Então, Daniel starts talking about this parable, and he actually comes and say, look, we have like two heads. We have a cold head, or a reasonable reasoning a reasoning mind, and we also have a hot head, and all of us are at some point inclined to make decisions that we can regret later on. And that happens when we talk about savings, retirement plans, eating healthy. We just feel like we should eat whatever we want. But then if we think about it for a while, we're going to see that those habits may have very bad consequences in the long run. We don't exercise enough. We don't sleep enough. Sometimes we don't study enough. So it's always this challenge, your present self and your future self. And he started talking about commitment devices. And one very good example of that is when people leave their credit cards at home before going to a store or a shopping center or someplace like this. So they say, look, I know if I have my credit card on my pocket and I look at something that I really like, I will be inclined to jump in and buy that stuff. So if you stop using your credit card like this, you may regain some control over your impulses. And in that sense, it looks a little bit like the Greek hero, right? He decided to tie himself to the master, and so he will not um, make the poor decision of reaching out for the sirens, right? So there's this whole discussion if willpower is a muscle. Tem toda essa discussão sobre o sua vontade, sua capacidade de autocontrole, se aquilo é um músculo ou se aquilo é um estoque. Se for um músculo, quanto mais você pratica, mais forte você fica. Se for um estoque, ele pode se esgotar. E aí, se você tiver em períodos muito demandantes, muito difíceis, você pode acabar sucumbindo mais facilmente a tentações. So this discussion is not over, right? If willpower is a muscle or if it is a stock and you have just so much, you have to use it wisely. This is a long discussion, but the solution that Goldstein comes up with is visualization. So he ends up describing and suggesting ways in which people can visualize themselves in the future. And sometimes they can use technology for that. So you can have like computer programs that will show you how you would look like if you didn't eat healthy, if you didn't save enough, if you didn't study enough, and things like that. So it's like computer simulated images of yourself 20, 30 years from now in different scenarios. And this is fascinating how it actually works, how people, by visualizing themselves, they can be more motivated to work solutions out today. Okay? So this is the first one. It's a very nice video. I recommend you guys have a look at it. The second one is Shlomo Bernardzi. He's talking about saving for tomorrow. So what's the deal here? Again, he comes out and say, look, we have a problem here. Not only our societies are getting older, living longer, but all of us, independently on our age, we tend to save less than what we need. And those are not rational decisions. So we have to look at this thing from a behavior economics perspective. And he basically says, look, we have learned a lot at this point about behavioral science. We know a little bit more what's going on people's minds, right? So he comes and say, look, we have these cognitive biases like the present bias. We have some default rules, which leads us to behave like in inertia. We do whatever we have always been doing and we don't change a lot. We also have a little bit of conformity. If no one saves, why would I? Why I need to be the one to save more? And also we have loss aversion, right? I mean, it hurts us immediately to save more today. And the gratification, the benefit will only come up in a long time in the future. So it is hard to make those decisions. So the solution in this case is quite interesting too, but it goes like this. You should have a commitment to yourself in which you're going to raise your saving rates whenever you get a raise, you get a larger income. So, você deveria fazer um compromisso com você mesmo de aumentar um pouquinho a sua taxa de poupança toda vez que você tiver um aumento de renda. So, if you pay attention to those moments in your life, look what happens. At some point, you were getting, 3,000 reais a month, and now you were promoted, and now you are making 4,500 reais a month. Okay, so, all right, you got a larger income. Now, if at that point you were receiving 3,000 reais, and let's say you were saving like 200 reais a month. Now, at that point, you were saving a little bit less than 10%. Now, once you got a raise, your salary now is not anymore 3,000 reais. Now you're getting 4,500. So you got an extra 1,500. So that would be a good point, so you could raise your saving rate to 10% or even more. So if you, at that point, you start saving 500 reais a month, for example, your saving rate would be 500 out of 4,500. But you would still perceive a larger available income. Então, se você aumentar sua taxa de poupança nos momentos em que você tem um aumento de salário, você pode passar a guardar um pouquinho mais, mas ainda preservar daquele momento uma maior disponibilidade de renda. If you make this commitment, in other words, if you save more for tomorrow, but if you make this commitment, you can actually behave in a very wise way in very specific and strategic moments of your financial life. If you do that, you can get much better off later on as you retire or as you need that money. Okay, so this is both are very interesting videos. I hope you guys have a look at them, and please let me know in our next meeting what did you think about it. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.